Welcome back to another episode podcast of Southern Two Lane.
So other than that, life has been motorcycle-y the last couple, 3 weeks. And now here we are in about the next 50 minutes, or maybe 45 at this point. We are going to chit-chat of things that happened over a 10-day period, just about going to
Daytona.
Week 2025.
Daytona.
So to get it kicked off and rolling, I want to give a shout out to Buck Owen.
Whoa.
All right. So the Friday, no. Let me back up. 2 weeks before we left, I told Uncle Buck, I said, bring your bike down to the shop, to the house, to my garage.
Now I know where you're going with this.
And we'll do a 3-hole oil change. We'll maintenance it up, check bolts. We'll do everything. This was what I got, DJ. You ready? Nah, I'm good. I got that done. I'm good.
Harley damn
That's right, baby. I don't need it. All right. So on 27th, Chris frantically, panicking, calls and texts and goes, "You ain't gonna believe this."
And send pictures.
He says, I was going over my bike less than 24 hours before we were leaving, and I found the bolt loose. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, that's good, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I was tightening it up, and I got on it just a little bit, and that SOB just snapped right off. But hang on, before you do, but I am going to say that a week before we left, old Homer over there got really sick.
Really sick.
And it appeared that he may not make it on the trip.
Yeah.
So it some of that had to be last minute, but he didn't. But he also didn't have to wait last minute. He was given the opportunity.
Yeah, I was given the opportunity, and I thought, man, you know what? I got plenty of time. I can go over everything. I can pack. So what ended up happening? I got the flu. Missed a couple days of work because of it, and Randy and I are talking a couple times a day. DJ's texting me every day asking how I'm feeling, and I'm like, I'm not missing Daytona. Period. Bottom line, I don't care. Stick me, hook me up to an IV if I have to. It's been planned long enough, so I ended up packing some of my stuff the night before, but I don't think I even told you this, Randy. Most everything was thrown together the Friday that we left.
Oh, I knew that's why it took you so long to get down.
Yeah, and
but I wasn't gonna give you a hard time about it because
Yeah.
I knew the way you've been feeling, and,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, I'm sitting over here kind of chuckling while you were talking, because there was a time when I was talking to DJ. He was like, "Where's he gonna go?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if he's gonna go." I said, "We gonna ride? You gonna trailer?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if he needs to be in that air," and blah, blah, blah. And then as the week got on, I said, "You know what? We're riding." You know why? Because I'm not sitting in the cab of a truck with him backing his head up all the way to Daytona.
Which I was, and still was, even after we got down to Daytona. Mm-hmm. But going back to that bolt, I would have been in a world of hurt if a little bit of my past and previous experience working for Fastenal, I know pretty much everything you can know about fasteners. So I was able to identify it quickly, get to the hardware store, get a replacement, and that sucker's Loctited and torqued, so I won't be.
I appreciate somebody that'll just go to the hardware store to get the bolt.
Yeah, I know my bolts.
Randy ain't gonna put it on his bike unless it's got the Harley Davidson part number.
Well, it should. That's what it's paid
It
for.
needs to come in a little cellophane bag.
Yep.
Well, I
on
ain't
the parts
saying
counter.
Pay 10 times more than it's worth.
I ain't saying I won't get that bolt later, but it got me to Daytona and back.
I have put a bolt or two on my stuff over the years that was not necessarily the brand mold.
Yeah, but you're not running down Dave's Hardware.
No, I have.
All right.
Not necessarily for the motorcycles, but other stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, but so the kicker here is that, so this was Thursday night, the 27th, Friday the 28th.
Yep.
We had planned on leaving at noon.
Right.
And a week before, the word from Chris was there's a possibility that I can leave early. And I was thinking, oh my God, it'd be so awesome. We get out here by 10, somewhere along there, man. That put us at a schedule. We'd just be great shape. I think, if I recall correctly, we pulled out of my driveway at 4:30 p.m.
That's correct.
So he rolls in, and I'm ready to go. I roll out, and at 4:30 p.m. we are. Guess what we're doing?
Oh,
DJ?
it might have been 3:30. Might have been 3:30.
No, it was 4:30.
It could have been 2:30.
No, it was 4:30.
Okay.
It was 4:30 p.m. and we rolled through downtown Birmingham
Rush
at 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Butt
I
cheeks
remember
were
watching y'all
really tight.
Looking at some point, y'all were
Sphincter
headed down
muscle was-
65. Glad I missed out on that.
Just creeping on the life
Well,
360.
and I started to just say, you know what, take your time, get everything together, get here in the morning about 5 or 6 on Saturday, and we'll just make a full day of it.
Sure.
I've ridden all the way a couple, 3 times in one, so wouldn't have been the first. We had the hotel room. I'd got it on points, but we'd already went past the threshold, couldn't get the points back. So I told him, I said, well, I ain't got anything better to do, nothing planned for the night, so let's just go ahead and go. And I think we rolled into Bainbridge, Georgia about, midnight?
Yeah. Yeah.
11:30, midnight,
Yeah,
somewhere
I
along
think we
there.
got to the hotel at 11:30.
We stopped in Columbus and ate, and it wasn't bad. It got a little cool. But we didn't have any weather. I mean, the main reason that we ride when we go to these trips is because the weather is forecasted to be pretty good. 75 to 90% of the locations and areas. So, but we had a blast. We grabbed it. We did pull into a Hampton Inn about 50 miles before Bainbridge and said,
Oh, yeah.
you know what, if they've got a room, we'll just go and stop early. Pulled in there, and she was like, no, we don't have a room. And I said, well, that answers that question for us. So 50 miles later, we're in Bainbridge, pulled in, got our reservations, got to the room, and nothing worked but the air condition.
Yeah.
And it was 30 degrees outside.
Yep.
And so she moved us to another room that had heat. Chris probably sweated most of the night, but I was very comfortable. And so we got a good night's sleep. We got up.
Randy will do that too.
Yeah, I got no problem. Better bring a fan when you come in. I'm in the church fans when I'm just waving Jesus. But got up next morning. Very beautiful, cool, brisk ride to Daytona. Got in there about 2 p.m. Saturday.
Yep.
Unloaded everything and commenced to have a little fun with some motorcycle friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the weather never changed.
It didn't. It was just, it was beautiful and brisk and cold. There was a couple of days that the wind was not that bad on the A1A, but, we wanted to, I think we sat outside at Ocean. We went to Ormond Beach once. We went to the other one 3 times total. And I want to say we sat outside, that was 4. So we sat outside maybe 2 of them. It was just cold. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced, I've experienced where it's cool at night. So you need to have, something to throw on because you're not going fast and you're not going far. But the ride to the house is usually a little cool. But we were wrapped up all day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a little unusual for Daytona from my experience.
Yeah.
And I didn't get down until a couple days after y'all. But
Yeah, so we had all day Sunday and all day Monday, kind of killed around, done a few things, had a little fun. And
I
then
think Sunday and
rolled
Monday
down.
were a little warmer.
They were,
actually,
they were the
it
warmer
is.
days.
Yeah.
A front came through, I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's when Tuesday was when we got the inside track on the CVO Road Glide RR, and was very. If you've seen that, we've put it out there on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the places. But we were there, did it live actually on Facebook.
Standing in the front row
of Kyle and I can never remember his name.
Wyman.
No, Kyle, but the other guy.
the other guy.
It's
Oh, who cares?
like French name. Kyle and Kyle's brother. They rolled in with them things and did some power brake burnouts and everything. Man, it really was. Hair stood up on my arm. It was pretty cool.
It was.
Pretty cool moment. $125,000 bike, and they did a tour walk around. We'll have another video. I have a GoPro video. Did a walk around on it, so I'll have some more information out a little later on that. Wish I've already got it out, but we didn't. But that was fun. And then Tuesday night, DJ got there, and we helped him unload. He may have parked in a precarious place because he didn't know when he got there. He got there a few minutes before we did and pulled down into the little drive and was like,
How are we going to get this trailer out of here?
oops. But we did. We did. So,
Boy, come back a trailer.
how was your drive down now? Really hadn't had that conversation. I know you stopped and drank that a case of Mountain Dews.
71 and 50% humidity in the truck.
That's right.
No wind.
Didn't fall off of it. Didn't lay it over or anything, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get fatigued. Didn't get wind burnt.
Didn't one
get
time.
sunburnt.
Didn't have any fun.
Listen to
Caught up
music
on all the
without road noise.
podcasts.
Yeah.
I will say that's one thing you can do when you're. Well, heck, I've got to where I do it. If I've got my full face helmet on, I'll listen to podcasts in my helmet. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's pretty cool. So you got down Tuesday about what we met you back at the house about 5.
Yeah,
5:30.
4 or 5,
Yeah.
5:30, something like that.
Unloaded all your stuff, jumped on the bike, and
Off we went.
party began again.
Yeah.
And
Welcome
had some fun, and but took a little bit of a right hand turn for about 12 hours, and I'll let you tell it so you can tell as much as you want or don't want.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was a right hand turn. I think that turned south.
South.
It
yeah.
did. It did.
I was thinking the same
Turn
thing.
south.
Yeah, he was going along and
South
fell off the
end.
cliff.
Yeah, I got down there Tuesday night. We went to what was the name of that little wine bar?
Magdalene's.
Yeah, something. Hung
what
out there with
Tim and them were over there waiting on us.
with Unc.
Cool little
And,
place. Live
Had a
band.
few beers. Nothing.
Nothing you had done before.
Yeah, no, certainly not. Did we go eat after that? We went to.
We
No,
ate there.
well, we ate
we had-
there,
we
and
had
then
pizza
Then we
there.
went
That
somewhere
was
else.
good.
Yeah.
Pizza was good.
Yeah.
we did go somewhere else. I'm not sure if we snacked or not. I think is that
We went to
is
that
that-
Italian place.
We went to Main Street.
That's right. We ate.
Oh,
off
that's
Main
right.
Street.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you and I
Corn
ate the
dog,
same thing.
Had a $37 corn dog.
That's right. That's right. Worth every 30.
Some fries. May have had another beer or two. Nothing. Again,
Nothing we have done 1,000
we
times.
get crazy here. But man, Wednesday morning, that hit me hard, and I started off thinking, it was kind of embarrassing. Like, dude, you went out, had 7 or 8 beers, now you're hungover and throwing your guts up here in the. And then the fever set in.
Well, that's what. So I told Chris later.
Yeah, we were like,
I said,
there's no way.
I said, Chris. I said, DJ got up and said, man, I'm hungover, and I said he wasn't hungover. I said I've been around DJ a lot. We've drank, we've had some fun, we've done whatever. DJ was not hungover. He thought he was hungover because he didn't feel well,
Right.
but it was not a hungover.
And I just didn't have anything else to attribute it to at
Right,
the time.
right.
And
So we got up that morning, Wednesday morning, right?
I mean,
and we
I
went to
go-
breakfast.
I go 225, 230 on a good day. So, 7, 8 beers over the course of 10 hours. It's
Yeah.
not.
Right.
So anyway, we get up. The highlights of my Daytona trip is going to involve riding the A1A and going to breakfast at Oceanside. So, that was like, all right, we're going to check that box early. We went to breakfast. I wasn't really feeling great.
So Chris and I ate, and you watched.
I watched y'all eat, and then went back to the house and threw my brains up again, and decided I was just going to hang out at the house. And
Well, when you started, filling the porcelain throne there with your innards, I told Chris, I said, well, let's go because I'd give you some privacy there to however you needed to handle that.
Sure.
Right.
Whatever end it was coming out of, etc. And we didn't hear from you again till.
Yeah, I laid back down in the bed and crashed hard until
It's 5:30.
Five, 6. Phone buzzed and woke me up, and it was Roy, and he was like, "Hey, I met up with everybody for dinner, and your buddies are here, but you're not here."
Yeah.
So he told me where you were at, and I said, "All right, well, y'all give me a minute, and I'll mosey over there." So.
Because they weren't with us at Madeline's Tuesday night when we got there. It was just Jerry and Tim.
Right.
They went somewhere else, so they had not seen you yet.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I jumped on the bike, headed down to what was the name of that steakhouse?
Weber's.
There? Weber's.
Yep.
Uh,
Place
Yeah.
Chris will. That's
Chris probably not going to give them any solids here.
They're not getting a good review on Yelp. Don't get me started.
My fillet was good. I decided,
my food was good.
I'm
good.
I'll handle a piece of lean meat, and if I can handle that, then I'll be all right. And
Well, I thought you and I was about to have to do a little citizens arrest on Chris over there. He was getting a little irate, you know what I mean?
He was getting a little fired up.
Old Buck was getting excited.
Well, when Tim and all his buddies showed up, there 20 people or better on top of their normal customers, on top of BikeWeek traffic. The place probably saw more people in there that night than they had seen in years. So, I tend to extend a little grace.
Yeah, thanks. Old boy over here, old boy can get hangry, okay? And when you bring out my steak that I ordered an hour and 20 minutes prior with the guy,
you're not forgetting
the table that literally sat down 20 minutes ago. I mean,
I'm gonna give you kudos, and these are good kudos here. It was definitely a long time. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah.
And we were not there to drink and party it up, so there was really not a lot to do. So
We went there for the steak.
Yeah, and it was a little boring for sure.
Yeah.
But I kept trying to just understand from a business perspective. You kept saying it's Bike Week. Why aren't they prepared? I don't think local places like that don't necessarily get tons of people are going to do anything different than their normal routine.
Fair enough.
And if they run out of food, they just run out of food. At least they sold all their food. Mm-hmm. They don't have a bunch left over, and that's my take on it. But anyway, we went home that night. DJ got another night's sleep, and then felt a little better the next morning. And then we proceeded to freeze our butts off and ride around Daytona.
Yeah. And the next morning, I was pretty solid business as normal.
And Wednesday, with that front coming in, Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Airbnb that we stayed in was 2 houses from the beach. I mean, we were.
One, two. We were the third house on the beach. Yes.
So we were 60 yards from ocean.
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't see the ocean for the assholes trailer.
Prior to you getting there,
yeah.
But Randy and I had a pretty good view prior to you getting there. But those white caps, I haven't seen waves like that.
They were that way in the fall.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I, when we were down there from Tuesday till Monday again, like we were the year before. And of those 7 days, 6 days, 4 of them were horrific. We had the quickest we could get off A1A was better. Mm-hmm. And the first couple of days we were there wasn't bad, but there was a couple of days it was pretty horrible. So the landlord lady that owns the house, we stay in there, and that's my numerical many times staying there. She's been great. Price is good. Anyway, she didn't want us to park our truck and trailer in the lot for fear of blocking the house next to us, the view. Well, I thought probably there was an HOA thing, and that's why, but apparently there's no HOA because the idiot that came next door to us parked his truck and trailer, and then we couldn't see anything.
Right.
So, anyway.
First world problems.
Yeah, it is. So, and there was a couple more things we did, but let's talk over the next few minutes here about Daytona in general. Daytona is never I got to see all my friends, and I say friends, we're biker family friends, whatever you want to call us. I see them every time I go down, whether they're from there or they ride and come there like we do. So got to interview Tony and Jody with Daytona Cycle Audio. Did a full-blown interview. We put that out there. If you can go back and look at that. They're great folks. I mean, they do some of the same stuff a lot of these other folks do. It's six one way, half a dozen another to a degree. But what they do offer, in my opinion, is some extreme courteous, being nice, and wonderful to be around. Repeat customers. They love all that stuff, and their story of how they wound up in Daytona and doing what they do is
such a cool story.
Is pretty cool. They were from up north and wound up buying the place a few years ago and enjoy it. So getting to see them, and of course Kevin with Reinhardt, and Jason with Coastal Moto, and just many others. So we enjoy doing that, but it is all the same thing, all right. But it never once did I think to myself that I could be doing something else, or I wish I was doing something else. Because the reason we go down there is to, again, do what?
Motorcycle shit with our
Motorcycle friends.
That's it. So going from place to place, whether it's from Broken Spoke to the Beaver Bar to River Grill to Ocean's Deck to, Outriggers, just hopping around, eating, and enjoying the scenery. I took Chris to the treehouse. Didn't get to take you there this time. We'll get there next time maybe. But took Chris to the treehouse.
Very cool.
Talk a little bit about that, Chris. What did you think about it?
The treehouse itself?
Yep.
I mean, it's a restaurant built around a tree. That's the coolest thing. I mean, you're sitting out on the patio, and you got a limb right here over your head. You got a duck under the leaves. Mm-hmm. You can sit out facing the street, which it's not, the view isn't that great. You're not by the water or anything like that. You're off on some off downtown street 4-lane with divided turn lane.
Well, to the right or kind of northwest, you got the viaduct that goes over the Halifax River.
You got the bridge, right?
But yeah, you're not over the water.
But just the environment of that.
The ambiance and everything.
I was when you said I'm going to take you to the treehouse. I'm thinking I didn't expect that.
Right.
It's just a cool environment.
It was. And they built, Norwood's has been there for years, and they had a restaurant, and then for years, and the trees in the parking lot began to grow, I guess, and it got to a size at some point where they felt comfortable with building an exterior
like
facility,
that patio out there.
Yeah, just around
Yep.
the trees, and so it's become Norwood's Treehouse, and that's pretty cool.
We got there. Well, what was it? It was like 30, 45 minutes before they opened, so we just sat in the parking lot.
We did.
Played on our phones a little bit, and I got an interesting phone call, but we won't go there. But
the parking lot filled up pretty quick.
It did. It like the locals knew.
Yep.
It's getting 4:00.
That's right. It's time. It's time to go. So anyway, I got to go around. Went to the doghouse. Took you guys to the doghouse. That's a pretty cool place. Didn't get to go to the Last Resort, which is where the female serial killer was arrested. I'll do that next time. Didn't get to go to the boat. We'll have to get that next time. We did go to Madeline's. That was a cool place.
You pointed out the boat.
I did.
As we were going by.
We went past it 4 or 5 times.
That's right.
So made a couple of trips to Outriggers. That'll be a place that I'll just never miss. I mean, I may have to leave the party and behind, but I'll be at Outriggers if I'm in Daytona at least once. That's just a matter of fact. When we went over there with the group on Saturday, or was it Friday? Friday. Chris had left.
Yeah, I had left. Y'all went over there on Friday.
So we went over there, and there was, I don't know, was it 20 of us?
Yeah.
We didn't eat, so I was a little disappointed in that because I was really looking forward to eating some of the. I didn't get to have their steak, and it's phenomenal. But I did get their sea treasures. That's what Chris and I ate, and he liked it. It's good.
Very good.
Sea treasures good.
Yeah.
I feel like that was our little gem, though, and now other people have picked up on it.
Have you noticed that? Every time I
There
go
were
now,
more motorcycles in that parking lot than's ever been there.
Yeah. The first year we went there in the fall of 22, I don't know how long Outriggers had been open, but we parked inside. Chris, I showed you the little houses in there. That's where
Right.
we stayed. That's where we
Right.
parked because we had the code. And really, for the next 2 years, we knew the code was the same, so we would go in there and park.
Yeah.
But that little place where we parked the bikes out there, one, maybe two.
Yeah.
And for that Friday when we went there, what was it, 50?
Oh, at least.
I mean, it was packed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the word has spread. It's a great, and it's they're not cheap. It's definitely a little more higher end place. And if you go and eat a full meal, appetizer, salads, and some drinks, you're probably gonna drop a couple of bucks. But it's some good stuff. It's,
That margarita's good, though.
It is that jalapeno spicy margarita, and
I'll tell you.
their desserts are good too.
I'll tell you.
They
Though,
make some good desserts.
I did have and I'm not such an aficionado as Randy, but I had the best Bloody Mary of my freaking life down there. Where was it at, Randy?
Oceanside.
The one I'm not a Bloody Mary guy, but
Oh my goodness.
if I was a Bloody Mary guy, I think the one there with little shrimps and
Bacon and
bacon.
got like a little sapling growing out of it.
Excuse me. Let me get this paper towel, wipe my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm slobbering all over myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And so Outriggers also holds a little special place because our first trip down, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was, John and DJ and I left out one Tuesday afternoon and just took off down, stopped halfway, spent the night, went on in the next day on Wednesday, and John was excited to get his Corbin seat installed on his bike.
Mm-hmm.
We were cruising when we left Dothan from the hotel. We escaped some rain. It was a little sprinkly, but we was cruising 68, 69. Man, just enjoyed a bike ride. But I want to tell you, the closer we got to Daytona, old John Woody started smelling that Corbin, and by the time we got to Daytona, we was chucking out about 79, 80, 81. But we rolled into there, and so we found the house after we went to Corbin, got the seat put on, 3 of us went to the house, and at first we were a little disappointed. We're like, man, it's 20 miles from kind of where everything is. This is not going to be fun. Turned out to be fantastic because we got to get away from kind of everything at night. And just kind of be enjoy. Anyway, we got there to the house and we were like, man, we're hungry. There's a restaurant out here. So John and DJ and I go out there and sit down. Wow, ambiance is nice, environment's nice. We're sitting right here on this water, and
Ambiance is nice.
ambiance.
I mean, we're just sitting here, just hanging out next to this $10 million.
$10 million yacht.
That was the ambiance.
Yeah.
Was there were several cruise ships docked. But anyway, we're sitting there and we're like,
I have been known to identify as a yacht owner.
Well, I was hearing the story that Tim was telling about. Apparently, there were some guys that was hanging out on one of his friend's yachts, and he was like, "Well, I guess he gave them the okay to do so." And turns out he did not. That's a whole story. So anyway, we asked the young waitress, "What's good here?" "Well, the sea treasure's good." "What's that?" It's an appetizer. It's just got a lot of stuff on it." "I'll bring it out here." Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, it's like a seafood charcuterie.
Charcuterie. It's got a little tuna, a little fish dip with some chips. Some big reds. Them are big old reds too. Them are.
Yeah, the big shrimps.
You gotta peel them and dip them in that.
I mean, we're talking like not my thumb.
Yeah, they were huge. So anyway, so we've been hooked. There has not been a time when we've been back down there that we have not been at least once. So that's a staple. Other places I can come and go, but I just like to get around down there and enjoy. So where was anything you guys went to while we were down there that may have been something that stood out, something you enjoyed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, since it was my first time,
That's right.
to
Forgot about
Daytona, I was really looking forward to seeing all the vendors, right? Because it's the first. Granted, the last rally of the year was just a few months ago. 4 or 5 months ago. But this being the first rally of the season, I was really looking forward to getting around to the vendors and seeing what was new. And There was a little bit of that. We saw we filmed the video with Mike from the little
Figurati.
yeah,
Yep.
with the oil
Magnetic.
cap, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Say it with me.
magnetic dipsticks. Anyway,
Dipnetic.
so and there's cool bikes around. Seeing Destination Daytona was cool, and just milling about.
That facility's pretty laid out, and there's a lot happening.
There is a lot happening.
And I can walk it off. I mean, I don't get old. It doesn't get
Right.
old to me. I could go there every morning if I wasn't afraid to not or to miss out other stuff.
Right.
I could go there every morning and eat that breakfast burrito at the little cafe inside the dealership
Enjoy
and just
that.
walk around.
Yeah. And of course, we haven't mentioned this yet, but we talked about it while we were down there, how they pulled all the showroom bikes outside under the tent and just kind of expanded
First year for that I know of.
the merchandise area inside the
Motor clothes consumed the
inside
entire
store.
dealership.
Yeah. And I bet you they had 200 different style of men's shoe for sale, which I didn't even know hardly made that many pairs of riding shoes. But
Well, let me on that note before you continue on that, let me back up and say that used to the souvenir clothes and the shoes were upstairs. All
right.
But
This
they were
year-
expecting to sell so many bikes that the upstairs was completely roped off unless
Yeah,
you were
couldn't
buying a bike. That's where you went up to talk to your salesman, do your financing, sign your paperwork, blah blah.
Yeah.
So all the motor clothes that was up there and the shoes all came down to join the other motor clothes, and the entire first floor was just full of clothes
So I have
and parts.
I have to say, overall the experience, I enjoyed it. We got there on Saturday. I left on Friday, coming back home, riding back home. You guys stayed a couple more days, but I've said this at every rally we've gone to together. The motorcycle shit with motorcycle friends is awesome. But what I enjoy the most about it is the times that we're sitting on a patio at some restaurant, sharing stories, drinking a beer, and just enjoying each other's company and
Sure.
learning about life together, and running into the friends that we see at these different things. And,
Right.
We have our friend Emily,
Yep.
who is a bartender, and she goes around to the different rallies, and it's always good to see her and just kind of catch up and get a free beer every once in a while. No, I think we paid for every one of them, didn't we?
Probably.
And then some. But
But there was numerous of, now we've been going so much. It's, we saw the girl at Froggy's.
yeah, that's right.
I know her name. I can't think of it off the back of my head.
I
We got
can't
Carrie was there, and then Emily and several of the others. But,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people look and go, well, just typical biker bar girls. I mean, these girls, they're doing this for a living. I mean, they make good money. So, it is what it is from that perspective. And yeah, some of them probably take it a little too far and got their OFs and all that stuff, but we won't go there. I don't follow any of their stuff outside of just their local social media stuff. But it's fun to be able to, to see them in different cities. And same with motorcycles. You go up and you see a custom motorcycle, like the guy that's got the Jose Cuervo bike that's gold plated, and he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So when I see him, I always go up and say hi, because we remember seeing him in Thunder Beach. We've seen him in Sturgis, and we've seen him in Daytona, and we see him. He's from Alabama. So it's always good to see these folks like that. But I agree with that. Making memories with you guys. Sometimes our wives go to our trips, and sometimes it's just us, and then we've got other guys that go with Jeremy and John and some others, and lifelong memory making. And one day I'll be too old to ride, and that's all I'll have. And I look forward to the videos and pictures that I save and store up, and I guess that's what I'll take with me to the grave.
And I think you've said this to me before, Randy, that Daytona, at least the spring rally, I don't know if you mentioned this about Biketoberfest in the fall, but I believe you said to me that the spring rally would be one that you would put on the calendar every year.
Yes, and it's not because of its uniqueness. It's because it is the first rally.
Yeah.
It's and it's in the southern states. So if it's going to be warm, How ironic we're saying that. Then you got, look, anywhere from a month or anywhere from a week to a month before on the the Bike Week Facebook page, which changes every year. They rename it after Biketober or Bike Week 2025. As soon as it was over with, it went to Bike Week 2026.
I've noticed that.
But and it does the same thing with Biketoberfest. But you'll start seeing people in Michigan and New York and Montana and Minnesota start talking about, loading the bike, getting it cleaned. We got everything in the trailer, heading out on this date. And blah, blah. They all start talking about trailering down. Why? Because they're getting away from 6 foot of snow and ice. And they get to come down and do some motorcycle with their friends. So yes, that's probably if Daytona was in, I don't know, April or June,
August.
maybe I wouldn't feel as compelled to go, but it's being the first of the year, and Biketoberfest is one of the last of the year. So, and it's a trip for Jeremy and I, and we've done that going down, and then because they're back to back, Thunder Beach and Daytona, it's easy just to ride there, ride to Daytona, or ride to Thunder Beach, Panama City, and then come home, and it's 9 to 10 day deal. And enjoy that. But all right, DJ, what did you anything that you specifically did different or continued to do in these trips that you found?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing that I wanted to make sure that I did this time was go hang out at the campground at the track with Unc, and so we did that one night. What was that? Friday night, maybe.
I think it was, yeah.
Friday night, went back to the track, and
we sat there for
him
I don't know 2 or 3 hours, I guess.
Him and his buddies have got their motor coaches, and man, those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Those are nice. Can't wait for you to get one.
They won't be road tripping.
Man, I mean, that's pretty cool. Him and was there six or eight of his buddies, and they've all got their campers and motor coaches, and they stack them up in there, beside each other. And
They do.
I'm sure they have a blast. But yeah, I was hoping there'd be more going on at the track than there was, and apparently usually there is. But like you said, it was cool. So just hanging out, sitting around outside with your buddies. It's going to be a little chilly.
It becomes hard to
do. Maybe not as much of that as there typically is for us to have experienced, but it was good times nonetheless. I could see the appeal to that.
Sure.
To that type of travel, for sure.
When we came in and when we left, I was looking at, and I'll use the word extreme because I feel like it was, but the extreme diverseness of boating places. They weren't all, $500,000 motor coaches.
No.
They were
But all the
campers on the back of trucks. They are. No,
a couple
exactly.
years ago when I went down, my first trip down there, and I stayed with him in the camper, we were at a different campground. And, I mean, you got guys there that, are in a, like you said, up to a $500,000 motor coach.
Sure.
And then, a few aisles over, you got a guy that's
Sleeping in the bed of his
got a
truck.
blue tarp bungee strapped to a tree off of his motorcycle because that's how he got there. So,
But I mean, they both pay the same for the lot for the space, and I mean, assuming that they both get the same space. I mean, I don't know how that
most
works.
campgrounds, you got primitive camping, and
True,
you got something over so many feet, and you got sewer hookups or water hookups or whatever power.
But you got
pay
the,
different
if you
rates,
got the bumper pull and the fifth wheel that need hookups, and the RV motor coach that needs hookups, well, I mean, they are going to pay basically the same, prices depending. Now, I'm sure there's probably some separation there somewhere at some of these campgrounds.
The ride into the campground was pretty cool, though.
It was.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, I did. I like it.
They're camping in the infield, so
Infield of the track.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you take it winds around.
I think it was the east. I think
And
it's
you
the
go
east
into
gate.
go through the tunnel that goes
Yep.
under the track.
Yeah, it was
It's
cool.
kinda
It was.
That is cool.
Yeah. I would have liked to have done that in the daytime where you could have kind of seen a little more.
Yeah. Well, we had planned to go back and watch King of the Baggers race the next day, and then their plans changed. They weren't going to be there, and
Well, the rain, I think, delayed it a little bit too. There were some rain showers that moved in and out on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because we were at Brokerage Spoke for a little while and got rained on. 10 days, 14 days earlier, the rain was not showing, but there were some clouds that came by. And then Sunday we rode home in the rain.
So no, I mean, as far as the different things, that's probably the only thing that's different than what I've done in the past.
Yeah.
Always enjoy the food.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what we, why we do what we do when we go down there. I mean, we want to ride bikes.
Kona and
Halls was new. I haven't been to Halls yet. So you and I going to Halls, that was new for me, and it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. We were sitting at Halls. You weren't there for this. We're enjoying our dinner.
Been there for a while. We just kind of hung out.
Yeah, we were just chilling there because the ball game was on.
That's right. We didn't go there for that, but while we were there, I started tracking the score, and they had it on one of the TVs.
Yeah, close game. Alabama and Auburn, right?
Yep. Went to overtime.
Alabama and Auburn, yeah, went to extra innings, and
I watched it at home.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So when they hit the game-winning basket, Randy jumps, Roll Tide!
That's right. Kicked the chair out from under.
Yeah, the whole restaurant turns and looks at him like,
Who was that idiot?
Retard.
Roll Tide. What does that mean?
So DJ had to say it. It's a basketball game,
Ball game.
everybody. It's okay. We just won. So,
Crimson Tide.
real dead. But yeah, that was good. So one of the things we've been several times. Jeremy and I went in the fall of 23, and I took him to a lot of the places that we were going to because he had never been. But when we went back last fall, he and I talked about it, and I said, "Look, there are so many places down there. We've got to venture out." So that's how we came across Dog. And I know it's not new places for everybody, but it was for us. So that's how we came across the Dog House, and we came across the Last Resort, Norwoods, and JB's, and a lot of the places we went to. Well, this trip, Hall's, Weber's, Madeline's, Ocean Deck. Jerry and I went to River Deck, which apparently is their sister restaurant, which is in New Smyrna. And we went, Chris and I went and met Tim and them there Sunday night at Ocean Deck. Yeah. So we went there, and then we went back. The three of us went back later in the week, and so we went there twice. But anyway, so we went to some. Oh, again, that's one of my goals these days. Going down there is to continue to find the new places because there's so many.
What was the name of the little place that we went to with Tim and Roy and them in downtown?
It's New Smyrna Tavern.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was. It was.
Good.
I
Good
like
oyster.
that.
Hey,
I didn't know that place was there, but anyway.
What was that called? The Daytona Garage?
So that was one of the things I was about to say when I
yeah.
started this process. But Chris and I went to the Orman Garage.
Yeah.
It was right across the street from Hull's. And it was literally a mechanic's garage at one point, and they turned it into a restaurant.
So cool.
So that was a very, very cool place. We got there at kind of the end of the night, so that wasn't. It weren't very busy and everything, but it was a very cool place.
But they ran out of chicken.
They did. They ran out of chicken. But the bathrooms, urinals were kegs cut in half.
Yeah, that was a cool little feature.
Who goes to the beach and eats chicken?
Well, that's...
How did you even know they were out of chicken without ordering the chicken?
Yeah,
It was more like bar food kind of thing. And I think they only had a few seafood items on the menu.
Okay.
Yeah, it was I will say that
Maybe a
that
little
is
bit
true.
of passing, yeah.
It was limited menu. I don't even remember what
Like
I
I
had.
say, we went to Kona and ate pizza.
Yeah, right.
Well, but I mean,
But it's good.
see, that's another place that's the place that was the first place we went to.
It
We
was
got
good.
in Saturday.
It was
He was
good
like,
until Randy bit into that bread pudding with bacon on it. And for y'all that don't know, bacon is a breakfast food to Randy.
Yeah.
And is
no
intended
burgers,
only
no whatever.
for breakfast.
That's
Now,
right.
outside
That's
of
right.
breakfast, no one is to consume bacon.
No.
So, when he ordered bread pudding and it had bacon in it, it was like his spirit left his body with it. with that bread pudding that he was anticipating so much. And I think it was like the third bite before you were like,
Well, I knew there was a taste. It
Something.
had some smoky kind of flavor.
dadgummit, it's bacon.
And they put the Irish whiskey. It's a Jameson. It's a Jameson bread pudding.
Oh.
So it's good. But so anyway, DJ and I went by there and ordered the little steak bites. Chris ate some of those.
Yeah, they're good.
They love it. They call it love bites or something like that. And then we
Yeah.
ordered the pizza. We were like, we're not really that hungry, but let's go and get something. So we devoured every bit of it.
Speaking of,
What? Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
rumbly in my tumbly.
Yeah, me too. Well, anyway, that's Daytona, and that wraps up Bike Week 2025. Had a blast. We'll go back again if we want to and can, but we'll see. There's a lot of other stuff we're going to attempt to do. But this now takes off into our next episode is going to be about
I assume March Moto Madness.
March Moto Madness.
Study up.
Yeah. Throw some dust in the air.
Yeah, throw a little mud on the tires. Is that a country song? Little Brad Paisley song?
Country song or it ain't.
Got a little mud on the tire. All right, so last year DJ goes and he goes up there and proceeds to look like the abominable snowman riding around on his GS because he's so he's wrapped up and secure. Admittedly, probably a little overkill on it, not for sure, but anyway.
Safety first.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't about safety. It was more like never been there, not for sure what to expect.
The Clem catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did. He went in there. The mouse, he wore a mouse out going click, 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 click. But anyway, so he's been, I have not, and Chris has not, some of the others have not. So there's 2 or 3 of us going up. Jeremy and DJ and I are going to go up with one of his friends, Brad. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be actually this time next week.
Yeah.
We'll be up there.
We'll be there.
Yep.
Settling in to the
Yep.
Kelly Cafe.
Yep. Tellico Plains, Tennessee. So what we may do is do a podcast from up there to get just a little short something. We'll get Brad to sit in on it and he can give his
He'll love
opinion.
that.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Right up his alley.
So I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I can
so,
see that happening. So
Yeah, this time next week we'll be loading up the KTM, the Pan Am, the GSs, the
whatever else we got,
yeah.
we're gonna have 3 KTMs, right?
Randy got him some new
Got some new shoes.
stump jumper shoes on the Pan Am
Got some-
over there.
Let me spell it out. They are Dunlop Trail Max Raids.
Yeah.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah.
Put about 5 or 10 miles on
They
them.
look good.
They do look good. I'm excited about it. All right, guys. Hey, social media. We are everywhere you can imagine. We're at Buck.
At Southern, the number 2 lane on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Southern 2 lane.
And don't forget the podcast can be heard on any podcast platform: Apple, iHeart, Spotify, blah blah, Spreaker, all of them. They just go anywhere you want to go and you can find the podcast. We hope you enjoy it. We do this for the fun of it. Nobody's making us, and we're definitely not getting paid for it. But we just do it because we love talking about stuff. We love talking about life and enjoy it. So God bless you. Say something kind. Love each other, and we'll see you the next time around. God bless.